Hello everyone, my name is Veer and today we are more going to deep dive into Cypress. In the previous video we have seen writing a basic test case where we are just visiting a google.com, okay, and this code is auto generated. Okay, now let's try to deep dive more into the Cypress. So what we will do, we will try to go to this particular website admindemo.noobcommerce.com and we'll try to interact with this email ID, password fill and the login button. Okay, so how we can do that in Cypress, we'll try to do this in this particular video. Okay. So now the some configuration things that needs to done on the IDE so that you can get support for all the Cypress commands like IntelliSense for the Cypress commands. It's you can do certain things. So you can just go to their official website, okay, and there are IDE integration, okay, approach, and if you can see, you can add a reference type or a triple slash directive for the Cypress command onto your IntelliJ ID. Sorry, on your VS Code ID. Okay, what you have to do, you have to just paste it that particular reference type onto the Cypress so that you will able to get all the Cypress related methods available for you. Okay, so this is the thing that you can do. Okay, now the other thing or other way to configure this is globally. So basically, if you can see here, you have to add this particular triple slash directive into each and every file. Okay, so if you don't want it to do that, what you can do is you have to just again go to the ID integration option, and there is another option to include one key into your JSON config file. Okay, so if you include this particular thing onto your JSON, again you will see the references. I'll explain you the content of the JSON file later, what you can add, and what are the different configuration options that you can add onto your this JSON file. Okay, so you can add over here so that you don't need to add this particular directory for each and every page or code file. Okay, now let's speak about this describe it block. Okay, so these are the Mocha based methods are available. So basically this is nothing but this is nothing but your suit. Okay, you can say this stands for your suit and it stands for your test. Okay, apart from that, similarly to describe, there is a block called as context. Okay, I'll just show you that as well. So context is another way to write the suit or a describe block. Okay, you can use context along with, let's say, I'll just add test, give a name as a test, and inside that you can have a specify. So specify is nothing but equal to your it block. Okay, so this way you can combine or so basically you're free to use whether to describe an it block or context and specify block. Okay, you can use either of one. Okay, so this is how you can use describe it or context specify blocks. Okay, now let's see more options about the cy.visit. Okay, so let me just try to run this again just once. I'll just open the terminal and I'll just do the npx cypress open. Okay, I'll show you different options available for this. Okay, cy.visit. Sometimes what happens, your page taking too much of time. Okay, and you wanted to specify the timeout, so you can directly specify the timeout over here. Okay, as a second parameter for the URL. Let's say your website is taking more than 20 minutes, 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Okay, so you can specify this timeout in milliseconds over here. Okay, so what it will do before timing out or before timing out that particular page, it will wait till 60 seconds for you before throwing a page timeout error. Okay, okay, so if you can see the Cypress window is opening, the Cypress runner window is opening, and you can see different browser options to run your Cypress test. So basically it is opening the Cypress runner, and it will give you the list of spec files that you currently have for running. So if you can see, it is trying to load the test now and visiting the google.com. So it has opened the Google, and if you can see, it will wait completely till the page loads. Okay, and you can see different XHR calls that are happening behind the scenes into the test. So whatever that is happening behind, those logs can be also visible for you. When you open this particular website, and once the complete execution is done, you will be able to see the this as well. Okay, once the execution is done, this particular test has passed, you can see. Now let's try to modify this with the website that I had shown you. Okay, so I'll just change this to, let's say, no commerce admin panel, or say admin module. Okay, and I'll rename this to let's say admin login test. Okay, and instead of this URL, we have to go to this particular way URL. I'll just change this particular URL over here. Okay, and I'll just save this particular file. And once you save, if you can see, it has picked up the changes. Okay, and it will try to visit that particular website as well. So you don't need to rerun everything. Whatever the changes that you make will be automatically picked up by your Cypress runner, and it will start executing those tests. So if you can, it has started executing that particular test, and this particular page has now opened. Okay, now what you wanted to do, you wanted to interact with these text boxes. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So Cypress has command called as cy.type. Okay, so before that, what you have to do, you have to get that particular element, particular this text box. Okay, so Cypress has this one icon over here. Okay, that will give you ability to inspect that particular element itself, and it will give you the command as well. So let's say if I wanted to find this particular element, if I click on it, see, it will give you a command for Cypress how you can find this particular element. So you can just go ahead and copy this to your this thing, and you can add. Okay, let's say I wanted to use this, and then again I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to clear that particular text box. Let's say whether that clearing the text box functionality works or not. Okay, and if you just see, again it had started executing the test. Okay, and you can see the text box is now cleared. Okay, if you can see over here, it was having some by default value, and we had cleared that particular text. Okay, you can change this particular command, clear command, with, let's say, type. You wanted to type something onto that particular text box, so you can give the type and whatever the content that you wanted to type. Let's say you wanted to type this particular admin email. Okay, and now let's see whether you are able to see those changes are happening or not. Okay, if you can see, it has typed that particular things. Okay, now similarly you can find the password text box as well. Okay, so it will give you a command. You can just go ahead and copy this and add it to your test. Again, here you have to clear the text box first, because there is already some content written. Okay, so now let's see whether we are able to do that, both the activities, like entering the username and the password. So, and before that, it is clearing the text box. Okay, now we wanted to click on this particular login button. Okay, so let's see again the identifier for it. So it is giving you cy.button1. Okay, we'll try to find out, is there any unique identifier as well for this. Okay, let's try to find out. We have a class called as login button. Okay, we can use that. Okay, so let's try to use that particular class. Or you can use button type equal to submit. So this will also give you the same thing. So I'll use this particular type equal to submit as a locator, and then we'll try to click on that. So let's say cy.get this button. Okay, you can either use double quote or single quote to put this thing. So I'll use the double quote so that single quote within that type will be available. Okay. And here we wanted to click on that particular element, so we can just use the click method. Okay, now that it has picked up the changes and it started executing again. See, it has clicked on the login button and it has been navigated to a different URL. Okay, so it will wait for the new page to completely load. Okay, and before if you wanted to perform any further actions, okay, so you can do that. So see, it is showing you the different logs as well, XHR logs that are happening behind the scenes. Okay, that if you go with the normal browser, you are not able to see what is happening behind the scenes. But with the Cypress, you can able to see what is happening the behind the scenes as well. What are the different XHR calls that are going to uh, perform? Okay, you can see all those details. Okay, so this way you can interact with. So what we had seen how you can open a website, how you can interact with the text box, and how you can work with the buttons in Cypress. And based on that, how the tests get executed. Also, we had seen how you can use the Cypress locators, Cypress itself to identify the locator and get the Cypress command. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.